7 years just like that. I know people repeat again and again that no contact is the way to go, and I kinda agree, but it is definitely hard to put in practice. After 7 years of relationship I got hit with "I love you but I am not feeling anything right now." It was after 2 months where her father became gravely ill and she didn't feel enough support from me. Problem is she never had the courage to break up with me, instead just moved back with her parents to take some time. I tried for a couple of days, took her out to nice places since we didn't have much of this in COVID times, bought some flowers. Sadly didn't really get too many emotions back my way and it drained me a lot. I decided to break up with her since it was clear she wasn't really living in the relationship anymore. Her moving out was a lot of crying on both sides. She wanted to hug as well, so clearly there is some feelings still in her, but it felt like it was more crying for the past rather than the current situation. We have an apartment and a car together. When she was moving out she said she doesn't have a home now because it's hard to live with her parents. Her father is kinda verbally abusive, but when I ask why she didn't want to stay here and try fighting for the relationship, she said she couldn't do that. I will be living alone at least 2 more months in our house, and it's difficult to be in an empty place where we spent last few happy years together. I moved in years ago to this city chasing love, so I don't really have any friends, and going back to my family isn't a choice either. Obviously we need to figure out our situation, like selling the apartment, and other stuff in the upcoming months. We are both not really out there to hurt each other. I still have lots of feelings and would go back if she decided to give us a chance. I have to say I am a completely different person than I was 2 weeks ago. The changes really were for me, future partners, and possibly her too. In some ways I wish we weren't so tied together so I could completely move on. Right now I am stuck accepting that we will not be together and hoping that in some time when everything will cool down we will go back together. I think the worst will be being stuck in a limbo that will not let me heal in any way. I don't even know if I am a dumper or a dumpee right now. This is kinda ducked up. I also don't want to feel like I am on a leash where she can go back whenever she wants to. We decided to give ourselves 1 month of not making big decisions, but honestly I don't see her changing her mind. She did really say a lot of hurtful things, and it's a repeat of what everyone is saying in this sub. There was no communication from her whatsoever until she had plenty of things to say. So do I go no contact for 1 month? In the next 30 days, I have my birthday, she has her birthday, and she has a name day too. My sister was saying that if it feels like there was still some love left I should be keeping in touch, otherwise our relationship will die of natural causes. Redditor's reactions update after. Redditor 1, I'm in this sort of limbo right now, and I really get why you don't want to be there. It sounds like she's going through a lot right now. According to your post she never really said she didn't want to be with you anymore, or anything similar. Maybe she just needs a break, a bit of time away, to see things more clearly. I'm generally speaking a big advocate of no contact. It worked well for me in the past, but we're talking about a 7-year relationship that didn't end in drama and could see a reconciliation. If I were you, I would at least text for her birthday, and ask how she is, as she seems to be having a hard time. Op answer, true, it is very hard time for her and I understand it. That is why I am keeping an open mind about this, because I don't know how much from what she said was caused by her being overwhelmed at this moment and what was caused by general unhappiness in relationship. Perhaps I wasn't grown up enough at exact moment in time to pick her up. She is definitely a grown-up in terms of handling life, but perhaps it was too much for her to handle emotionally. She is seeing a therapist who said it will take at least 1 year to solve her issues from childhood, as I said, verbally abusive father, and to deal with all her emotions. She is also running her own business and needs plenty of help, which I was a part of, so I am not sure how she is going to handle that exactly. Her parents pretty much don't have any job prospects and they have spent all their money, so she keeps saying that she will have to support them financially for the rest of their lives. It will probably be that way, and it is very tough to handle for soon to be 30F. After writing all that, that is a difficult situation to be in. We definitely had fights in the last 2 months that were tougher than anything in the past 7 years, where both sides were hurt, but I feel like time heals wounds, so perhaps she will forgive me for not being a rock she can rely on at all times in my life. I am glad you said that perhaps it's worth contacting later and seeing how things are. I guess I will just try to keep on living without any hope, the hardest part, and try to be ready for anything that life throws my way. Update: being cheated on crushes your soul no matter what. First of all, I would like to say that I read a lot of stories here and was inspired by how strong most of you are given the circumstances. This is probably the last time I will be ever speaking about what happened. I never actually got proof about cheating by my ex of 7 years, but it just makes sense that she did it. For context, we lived together for 5 years in an apartment that we bought together and had a dog that we were raising for most of our relationship. We started the relationship when I was 22 and she was 23 years old. It's around 1 year after we split up, and I feel like a chapter of my life is closing as I am approaching 30 years old, but decided one last time to tell my story, hoping maybe that it will give courage to more people to come out with theirs and give myself a sense of closure. During COVID lockdowns we started playing together a stupid mobile game to KLL sometime and perhaps be a part of small community online. I was doing my master's thesis and was in the middle of switching careers to IT after many years of doing different stuff. She was building up her business. I guess like for many people it became a little bit stale during pandemic. We didn't really plan real holidays and time kind of went by. We started talking to some people on Discord that we met in the game. It was fun for a while talking to people from all around the world when literally almost everything was closed in most countries. Here comes the friend. It was a guy from another country that me and my ex have spoken to. He felt like an outsider, wasn't really talking much, but I didn't give it too much thought. Met many people online. At the start of last year she slowly started working more and spending less time with me, which I also found acceptable as I believed she was building up her business. At some point last year my ex's father became very ill. He felt bad for a couple of days until he went to the doctor, who told him to go to the hospital immediately. Her dad was in the hospital for a couple of months. He was very close to never coming out of that hospital. But in the end he did. For context, you also need to understand the relationship my ex had with her father. At many points she was saying that she hated him and wished him stuff that I don't even want to repeat here. I was very confused as her feelings for her father jumped from love to hate every week. During that time I supported her as best as I could. She seemed very stressed obviously in her life, but it felt like I couldn't help her no matter what I did. She started coming to bed much later, sometimes in the middle of the night. One day I woke up and she wasn't in bed, went to check up on her and she was listening to music with her online friend. I try to be a very understanding person in life, and especially during tough times I understand the need for support literally from everyone around you, so I would allow it, but it would plant a seed of doubt in my mind. She also never left her phone alone anymore, which in the past happened regularly. For her work she was talking a lot on the phone with her coworkers, and since we had our office room together it really wore me down mentally, someone talking behind me most of the day when I couldn't focus on tasks. So I decided to move to another room so I could focus once again, and be more productive in our life, not only for myself but for both of us. At this point she said that my move to another room was me abandoning her. I said it's not about you, it's about me. I need this because I can't work in the same room anymore. Around the same time I dropped all mobile games because I felt like they were too big of a distraction in my life and I was wasting my time. Perhaps all those things altogether seemed like me abandoning her. I am not sure, but at some point she started questioning me helping her in her business, even though it has never been the problem before for 2 years, like I don't like asking you for help, I hate coming to you for help, etc. My assurances that I love helping her build up her business didn't seem to matter. One day when I walked into her office while she was working and saw Discord open, there was a lot of hug heart emojis in the chat with her friend that we met online. I just told her, speaking from my own experience, to be careful and that feelings created through online talking might seem more real than they actually are. Again, I gave her the benefit of the doubt because if I can't give trust to my partner in life, then what's the point of even being together? At some point in the next couple of days I grabbed her phone when I wanted to check something out and she snapped like, "What are you doing? Can't you see I am using it to work right now?" I don't think she was, but I gave it back to her without looking anything up. Again, I gave her the benefit of the doubt. That basically sums it up. We had a couple of rough arguments around that time about our current state of relationship. I got blamed for a lot of stuff which I feel was very unfair. We almost never fought in the past 7 years. We agreed that she should take a time out at her parents' house, but she didn't give me absolutely any emotion back during that time, total stone cold. I asked her if she wanted to come back to our house to try repair our relationship and she said she can't come back. I asked why. We have so many good memories here together. And she said that's why I can't come back right now. Well, I showed her that she is important to me for a couple of days after that, but when I got nothing in return I told her I can't do it anymore. She never said the words about ending the relationship, but all her actions spoke for themselves. She literally made me break up with her because of how little emotion she showed in the last couple of weeks, days. I realized if she can act like this after 7 years, then there's probably nothing I can do and I need to end this to keep my dignity and sanity. In the next couple of months I stayed alone in our house while we were trying to sell it. She appointed her local friend who is also a lawyer as a proxy to sell our apartment, and she didn't really want to see me. Well, she wouldn't even be able to because she first went to another country for like 1 month to reset the vacation house of someone in the family of the lawyer friend. For most of our relationship it was me who paid for most of our stuff, holidays as well as everything for the dog, but obviously that's not something I can get back. She left our dog legal papers for the dog are hers with her parents. Her dad is literally very sick at this point, and her mom is semi-capable of taking care of the dog. Then just after resting around 1 month in that house, I find out that she went to another country, and the city of the internet friend not too much later. Around 4 months after that she was married to him. That's all I know, and I don't want to know anything else because it's not my story anymore. So yeah, this is it. I believe she was emotionally cheating on me even though there isn't really a direct proof in my hands. I have never felt so betrayed in my life. The good thing about all of this is that we were never married and have no children together. I guess one of the reasons I wanted to share this story was that cheating has many forms, and for people to not be afraid of talking about internet affairs either. Sadly, stuff like this leaves permanent scars on your soul. Redditor's reactions. Redditor 1, I'm sorry this happened to you, and I know this sounds cliché, but you're better off without her. Her cheating had nothing to do with you, and everything to do with her. Consider yourself lucky that you found out early. Op answer, I know I am better without her, especially after what she showed at the end, but it's hard to wrap your head around being with someone for so long and not really knowing them at all. Compared to some stories here, 7 years, seems like not that much time, but it was still most of my 20s. Redditor 2, sorry brother. I can feel your pain and the betrayal. Redditor 3, so yeah, this is it. I believe she was emotionally cheating on me even though there isn't really a direct proof in my hands. She moved to his country and married him. You know exactly what happened. Sorry you went through this, friend. Op answer, yeah, I mean it's obvious but still seems like such an insane thing to happen. Leaving someone you knew for 7 years, and I am pretty sure 90% of the time we were both happy for someone you didn't even see in person. I think part of why it was hard to deal with is that it seems so ridiculous to me that somebody could do something like this, especially in the way she did it.